All right, welcome everyone. And thank you all for joining this afternoon for the Condominium Authority of Ontario's Director Training 2.0 webinar. Bienvenue à tous et merci de nous rejoindre pour le webinaire de l'Office du secteur des condominiums de l'Ontario sur le lancement de la formation des administrateurs 2.0. Happy to see so many of you signing into this webinar today. We have about 270 people joining us so far, and we expect a lot more. My name is Alex Defto. I'm CAO's Manager of Marketing, Communications, and User Experience, and I will be your moderator today. I'd like to begin with a land acknowledgement, as is customary at the Condo Authority. We acknowledge that the land we are broadcasting from is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabeg, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Dish with One Spoon territory, also known as Treaty 13, with the Mississaugas of the Credit. In the spirit of reconciliation and gratitude for those who first occupied these lands, we offer thanks for the histories, languages, and traditions that influence us to this day. We seek to both honor and forge new connections with all residents of Turtle Island and beyond. So thank you very much for your attention. And now on to some housekeeping items. Today's webinar will be recorded, and then it will be posted on our website and on our social media channels next week. So please make sure to follow us and share with your friends. The CMRAO has accredited this webinar so that it is worth one continuous learning credit from them. We have collected questions in advance and will be answering them along with questions that come in through the chat function here on Zoom today. You can also use that chat function to let us know if you're having trouble hearing us or seeing our presentation. Okay. So before we get started, we'd like to know a little bit more about you who are joining us today. If you could please take a couple of minutes, you should be seeing a poll popping up on your screen, just letting us know who you are, and then we can get started right after that. So I can see some votes coming in here on my side. We have lots of board directors today, as expected, given that this is a director training webinar, so that's great to see. But also lots of owners, which is really nice to see, lots of unit owners. And I always love to see it. A few folks from Northern Ontario. We have about 10 people from Northern Ontario joining us today. Always great to see that. Okay, so my colleagues will make that poll live for you so you can see the results as well. It's great to see representation from across the province. And thanks everyone for participating. And with that, we are ready to dive in. So today, you will be hearing from a few members of the CAO's team that worked on the development of the training. We have with us our CEO and Registrar, Robin Defo, who will provide welcoming remarks. We also have our Director of Information Services and Education, Team Len Peterson, and Team Lead of Information Services and Education, Julia White. And Tim and Julia will walk you through what's new in the training. Okay, so with that, I'll pass it on to Robin. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alex. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the board and staff of the CAO, I want to thank you for joining today's webinar. It's great to see so many of you eager to learn more about how CAO's director training strengthens consumer protection in the province and improves governance for condo communities. Our newly updated training launched a few weeks ago on November 1st, which occurred on the 7th anniversary of the launch of the first mandatory director training in Ontario for condominium directors. This was the year 2017, and only 2 months after the CAO officially opened our doors. It was a big achievement at the time for a brand new organization. Like all of you, CAO understood then, as we do now, that directors play a critical and important role in governing and managing condominiums on behalf of all owners. Directors work to keep condo communities vibrant and harmonious, and they must ensure that the condominium complies with the Condo Act and other relevant legislation, and they're responsible for sound financial management and protecting the interests of all owners. That's why in the spring of 2022, we took steps to enhance our director training program and respond to sector feedback by introducing optional advanced training on key topics. The advanced director training received very positive feedback from those who took it, with overall satisfaction among those who took those modules at over 90%. And that same figure, over 90%, would recommend it to others. So following this, we continue to consider the feedback from the sector and request for a more comprehensive and in-depth mandatory program. With the 7-year renewal deadline on the horizon, the team began working on Director Training 2.0, and this is the program you'll be hearing more about today in our webinar. I'm proud to say that this training is now here, and with it comes fresh and timely content, practical tools and tips, and brand new modules, including one that was born out of a staff innovation idea that allows learners to assess the knowledge they've learned and points them to areas that they may want to revisit. We've just shared a link in the chat that takes you to our website's Director Training 2.0 page and gives you an in-depth look at all the modules and topics. Our Director of Information Services and Education, Tim Lund-Peterson, will be walking you through the details. In addition to the training, the CAO accompanied the launch with a brand new Condo Director Competency Framework that provides current and aspiring directors with an overview of the 7 key knowledge areas for directors and boards to consider. Julia White, our education team lead, will be taking you through that framework. We're proud of this new training and the framework and the consumer protection it provides to the sector. Education is one of the 3 pillars within our digital service model, along with information services and dispute resolution. We've trained almost 70,000 learners since we launched the original program in 2017. We look forward to hearing more feedback from you and other condo community members so that we can continue to refine our program as we always have in the past. I'll now pass it over to the team who led the development and launch of the training materials to give you a deeper dive. Over to you, Tim.
Thank you, Robin. And good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for being here with us today to discuss Director Training 2.0. I'm thrilled to share more details about the recently enhanced training. As Robin mentioned, we worked closely with condo directors like you to make this program better. I'd like to take a moment now to acknowledge some of those contributions. We worked with some of our advisory panel members who provided valuable feedback on the content and tested the new Q&A self-assessment module. Thank you to all members of the GTA Condo Directors Group. By the way, if you'd like to join our advisory panel, all you need to do is subscribe on our website and indicate that you are interested in being an advisory panel member. The link will be shared in the chat momentarily. We also sent a survey to the sector about the program that helped shape it. If you're a CAO subscriber, you would have received the survey. About 2/3 of respondents there told us they wanted to see our advanced and mandatory training programs be merged into one. We also analyzed the results from the regular director training surveys, and about 80% of respondents there told us they wanted expanded mandatory training, more scenarios, more information on conflict resolution, and more advanced modules. So that's how we arrived here. Speaking of, we're curious to hear, for those of you that have taken CAO's original mandatory director training, how long ago did you do so? And also, we're curious to see how many of you here today completed the advanced optional training. Please submit your response through the polls. Okay. We're seeing a pretty balanced range of people in terms of when you've done it, which is great. And we've got a healthy complement of people who've dug into the advanced training as well. So looking forward to hearing your feedback on the new program. Well, now there's only one training to keep track of with our new 26 modules. These new modules are divided thematically into those 7 areas that Robin mentioned that mirror our Director Competency Framework. These are governance and legal compliance, consisting of 9 modules that go over the governance and legal framework of condo living, including the role of CAO, what a condo corporation is, the legal framework around condos, the role of directors in governing, board meetings, corporate records, information and status certificates, and the governance best practices module, which was previously part of the advanced program. Number 2 is community engagement, with 2 modules covering requisition meetings and owners meetings. Building management, with 3 modules covering common element modification, repairs and maintenance, and the former advanced director training module on overseeing condo managers, which also includes information on CMRAO and its role in regulating condo management. Financial acumen, with 5 modules covering finance fundamentals, reserve funds, auditors and annual statements, collections and liens, and advanced finance, which was formerly a module in our advanced director training program. Dispute and conflict resolution, consisting of 3 modules covering the Condominium Authority Tribunal, our new module on communication and conflict resolution, and our former advanced director training module on issues management. Project management, which is 1 scenario-based module on procurement, which used to be part of our advanced program. And finally, risk management, which contains 2 modules, 1 covering insurance and the other covering emergency planning and preparedness, which used to be part of the advanced program. Finally, there's one of our new modules at the end, as we mentioned before, that provides a self-assessment opportunity for learners. We estimate that the new training should take you approximately 7 hours to complete at your own pace. And I'd like to take a moment now to focus on those 2 brand new modules that I've mentioned. The communication and conflict resolution module aims to help you learn practical strategies for communicating effectively with members of your condo community so you can resolve common condo living issues. And it's accompanied by an in-depth guide that you can access on our website. The link is being shared in the chat. The Q&A self-assessment module provides a comprehensive assessment that covers key concepts from each of the other 25 modules. It consists of a randomized set of 20 multiple choice questions designed to assess your understanding of the material. It will provide the learner with a summary of their performance, showing which questions you answered correctly and incorrectly. It'll also point you to the modules where you can dive deeper into the topics covered and connect each question to the competency framework, so you know exactly how it all ties to your learning goals. In addition to the updates to the training modules themselves, the CAO team also worked on enhancements for the online experience of our learners. We now offer a brand new director training dashboard that allows learners to see records of training completions, Q&A module results, and assess their training transcript and certificate of completion directly on their profile on our website. We have also updated our condo calendar to provide better user experience through clearer information about the status of your condo board directors training. And as usual, we will continue sending reminders to directors when they need to take the training, including to those who need to retake it because their 7-year period is expiring. As always at CAO, we care deeply about the feedback we get from you, and I'm pleased to share that feedback so far has been quite positive. Learners are asked to do a survey after completing training, and so far, after our November 1st launch, we have had 450 people complete the full program. The results tell us that 96% are satisfied with the program, and 98% feel more prepared to be a director. You can also see on screen some of the written feedback we've received through that survey. And we truly appreciate everyone who takes the time to provide us with feedback as it continues to help shape the program and all of our supporting materials. I'll now pass it on to Julia White, CAO's Team Lead of Education and Information Services and an integral part of the project team, to walk us through our brand new Condo Director Competencies Framework.
Thank you, Tim, and thank you so much to all of you for tuning in today. I'm excited to share a little bit more about the Director Training Competency Framework before we get into the Q&A portion of this webinar. This framework was developed through research, with insights from sector members like all of you, and from help with CAO's dedicated staff members and experts. Our advisory panel members helped us define the structure and the language of this new framework. Our goal with developing this framework was to provide condo directors in Ontario with a solid foundation for their roles, whether they are new or seasoned directors. This competency framework helps directors understand the 7 key areas of expertise to foster strong condo communities. The framework is a great resource for individuals interested in becoming directors to get an overview of the role, and for existing directors to assess their strengths and identify areas of expertise that may require further development. We recognized a need for a structured guide to clarify what condo directors need to know and to do to succeed in their roles. Managing a condo is complex, and directors play a vital role in ensuring their condo communities thrive. This framework simplifies this by breaking down the key competencies and providing clear expectations to condo directors. The framework is also going to serve as the backbone of our training program. It aligns each module and resource at the CAO within these 7 core areas. This ensures that the training is not only comprehensive, but also directly tied to the real challenges and responsibilities directors face. Lastly, the framework provides you with access to CAO's other supporting education materials, including our tools, templates, and guides for continuous learning. We're happy to offer this framework to you on the CAO website, and are very pleased to report that all of our initial feedback has been quite positive. Now, Alex, I'll pass it back to you.
Thank you, Julia, Tim, and Robin, for sharing these insights and for sharing details on the journey of how Director Training 2.0 came together. We're going to move on to the Q&A portion of today's agenda, and we'll provide you the opportunity to ask us some questions. We also have questions that have come in ahead of time that we'd like to get to. So again, feel free to ask any questions in the Q&A as we move through our questions here. Okay, so let's get started. Perhaps we can start with Tim. We have a question here that came in before the webinar. It says, I did my director training, but I have received a notice from CAO telling me that I have not done it. So what can I do in that situation?
Thanks, Alex. Our information services team does get this question a fair bit. And typically the issue is that you've created a CAO account with one email and have taken your director training with a different email. So the best practice here is before starting training, please ensure that you're using the same email your condo corporation has added to the CAO's database through filings. This is for us a unique identifier that links your training completion with your account on file with the CAO. And much like a standard practice when interacting with an organization's applications, for example, you must use the same email for different services when doing online banking. If you run into this issue, please feel free to contact us, and our information services team can help you figure out the best solution to resolve your issue.
Great. Thank you very much, Tim. Hopefully that is helpful. Another question that we have here. Do I still receive a certificate upon completion of the new training? Perhaps, Julia, we can go to you this time.
Yes, absolutely, you do. And you're actually going to be able to access that certificate on the newly enhanced CAO profile that's on our website. Additionally, on that profile, you'll also find a PDF of the training script once you've completed the entire training program. So it'll be a PDF you can download, as well as a link to accessing your current certificate and all previous certificates.
Amazing. Okay, great. Another question here. How can I know if I need to retake the training? We have some questions that have come in through the chat today as well, asking the same thing. I can't remember when exactly I took it last, and I'm not sure about the timeline. So how can we help people figure out their timelines? Perhaps Tim, we can go back to you with this one.
Yeah, it's a really good question, particularly around now. According to the legislation, if your term start date is 7 or more years after you previously took the training, you will need to retake it within 6 months of the new term start date. Once a new term start date is added to our database by your condo corporation, the system will automatically calculate the due date for your training. And this date is displayed on CAO's condo calendar tool on our website. And we also send reminder emails about the specific training timelines with personalized instructions. And again, any questions on this, and if you're still having a hard time determining your deadline, please reach out and contact us, and we'll be able to help you figure that out.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Tim. Okay. We have lots more coming in here, so we're just going to go through them. Let's go back to Julia with this one. I've taken condo board director training from another organization. Do I still need to complete CAO's training?
Yes, so all directors elected or appointed to a condo board must complete our free mandatory training. This is a requirement of the Condo Act, and it's the only training that fulfills this requirement. So training offered by other organizations are great for continuous learning, but they do not fill the requirement to complete the CAO's director training.
That's right. Okay, good thing to remember. Okay, so there's some questions in the chat as well about this. Do I need to take this training if I've completed the previous mandatory and or advanced training that the CIO previously offered? So maybe let's go to Tim again.
Basically, you've taken the previous training, you would not need to take it again for another 7 years. So it is going to be dependent on your particular situation. And again, that calculation is done based on your term start date. So you may or may not have to do it now. You will at some point if you remain an active director. I would say we do encourage all directors to take the new training and revisit it as often as they like as we continue to update it. One of the interesting bits about our new enhanced program is you can also access the modules in any order. Obviously work through the program over time, but you can jump in and out of modules that are of particular interest, even if your deadline is not due. And again, please contact us if you have any questions about that.
Okay. Thank you so much, Tim. Lots of questions coming up about deadlines. So let's answer one more. Perhaps, Julia, you can help us this time. What happens if I do not complete the mandatory CAO director training in time?
Yes, so great question. So all condo boards in Ontario, or condo board directors in Ontario, must complete our training within 6 months of their term start date and every 7 years thereafter. So those who do not complete it on time automatically cease to be directors, and this is part of the Condo Act. This means they are unable to act as directors of their corporation until they complete their training and then are also re-elected or reappointed by their board. So please try and make sure to keep track of your deadline. Your board may lose quorum if you do not complete the training on time. And you can check the condo calendar tool on our website or give us a call or send a request through our contact us form if you're unsure about your deadline for training.
Thank you so much, Julia. Okay, just a few more here. Can I just complete the new modules when my 7 years are up? I've already done the original mandatory training modules. Maybe Tim, we can go back to you for this one.
No, you do need to complete the full training program, not just the new modules. And all the stuff we've talked about up to this point, we really hope you'll enjoy the more comprehensive content and improved experience that we feel we've delivered with the program. We're proud of this latest training and hope that everyone who takes it, whether you're new as a condo director or whether you've been doing this for a while, will find something valuable that will enhance your skills even further and make you feel like you learned something.
That's right. That's right. We're very proud of the training. I think it'll be a very enjoyable experience. Even if your deadline is not coming up, you might find something very valuable there. A couple more questions here. This one for Julia. How does the Q&A module work? There's a bunch of questions about this in the chat as well.
Yes, very excited to answer this because we're very proud of this new module. So the module provides a randomly generated set of 20 questions from a larger pool, and it's going to help you with the self-assessment of your learning once you've gone through the training. Once you've completed the quiz, you'll receive a summary of how you did as well as feedback on any areas you can consider reviewing. So each question is connected to a module, as well as connected to one of our competencies, as I discussed in the competency framework. So if you're going through the quiz and you have questions about where could I learn more about this topic, it'll direct you right back to the modules where that was covered. You can also take this quiz as many times as you like. So each time you take it, you'll have a slightly different set of questions. So you can retest your learning and see if you can improve your score, or just test out a variety of different questions. So please feel free to access that quiz at any time. Again, whether you are looking to do the new program in its entirety or looking to jump into modules, this is one of those modules you can test out as soon as you like.
Thank you so much, Julia. Okay, big topic here. I think conflict resolution is a big issue in my condo community. Does the training provide any additional resources in this area? Tim, maybe you can help us out with this one.
Absolutely. Much like Julia said about the Q&A module, we're really happy with the work we've been doing around communication and conflict resolution. We've been hearing from condo communities that this is an important area of need. And in response, we developed a communication and conflict resolution module that tries to offer best practices on how to avoid escalating issues and prevent conflicts more generally. We also released a companion guide that provides even more detail in a format that can be referenced quickly. We have other helpful resources in this area too, like our guided steps to solving issues involving harassment. And just to remind folks, we hosted a webinar last year where we brought in industry experts to present on best practices for resolving conflicts. And part of that webinar also included information on the CAO's anti-harassment rule sample, which provides a template of sorts and guidance on how to create an anti-harassment rule. We've heard that many condo communities have used this sample to develop a rule specific to their own needs, and we encourage all communities to consider implementing a similar rule. Having a rule within your governing documents may provide you an avenue for resolving issues and ensure that harassment-related issues in your condo can be brought to the Condo Authority Tribunal.
Thank you very much, Tim. We obviously take this very seriously. We have lots of resources out there. I hope folks will enjoy going through those. Okay, a few more questions here. So one for Julia. Can the CAO join my condo board meeting and help me with issues in my condo community?
Yes, so we get this question quite a lot, and I do think it's because there's a little confusion about the role of the CAO. So as the CAO, we provide information, education, and dispute resolution services, and we look to empower condo communities to solve these issues. So the Condo Act provides the local governance mechanisms to address issues within this co-ownership model. It empowers owners and directors and others to improve the governance of their own condo communities. Directors are elected by the board or elected to the board by the owners and who represent them. So the CAO, we provide materials and resources to support you. If you are experiencing issues, you can look up some of these resources on our website. You can also get in touch with our information services staff. There is a wealth of information available to you, including all of the guides and resources that Tim talked about in the previous question. So I really recommend checking out the website, and our information service staff can help address specific issues within your condo community and give you resources and tips, and also discuss the options that we have through our tribunal service. So please reach out to our services through the Contact Us form on our website or by giving us a call, and check out all the guides we've got on these topics, because there'll probably be information there that relates to your situation that can help you work through this together in your condo community.
Thank you so much, Julia. Well said. Okay, another one for Tim. Can the CAO help me deal with a noise issue in my condo?
Another common question we get. And I would say in terms of our resources, we'll start with the four-step process, our guided steps to help condo community members resolve common condo living issues, including noise. If you head to our website, these guided steps will point you in the right direction in terms of resolving those. One thing I would say is it's always a good idea to follow these steps before escalating. We definitely recommend a collaborative approach that involves communication with the parties, to understand your issue, try to resolve it directly with the other party. And then if necessary, you can file a case with the Condo Authority Tribunal, providing your issue is within the jurisdiction. And the tribunal is CAO's online dispute resolution service that can help you resolve your issues efficiently and cost effectively if they get to that point.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, so we are running out of time. Perhaps we'll take one more question. Another really important topic, I think it's worth answering. So we'll finish off with Julia here. This question says, I'm not convinced that my condo is saving enough in the reserve fund. Does the training touch on this important topic so that owners are protected?
Absolutely. So we've newly updated our reserve fund module, as well as updated a new guide on our website. So this is a priority issue for the CAO. Earlier this year, we released a report on the state of reserve funds in the province, and the report highlighted a lot of ongoing trends surrounding inflation, awareness of the important reserve fund concepts among condo community members, special assessments, fees, and more. We also released that updated guide earlier this year, and the module coincides that to provide you an overview of everything you need to know with reserve funds, with the guide going much more in depth. The CAO understands the importance of staying vigilant and informed on reserve fund planning and best practices. So we do hope you'll check out these resources, and I strongly encourage both owners, directors, and all of those who are impacted by reserve funds to have a little bit of an understanding of how these work. I think the module is a great place to start. It's a shorter module, so you can access it and go through it at your own pace and on your own time. And again, you don't need to complete the whole training to access some of the modules. So if you're looking to get kind of a brief understanding of how reserve funds work, the module is a great place to start. And then you can expand your learning by going through the guide after this. So definitely an area that we're aware of and are prioritizing, and we've got lots of resources available to you.
Amazing, thank you so much, Julia. Okay. Thank you, everyone. That's all the questions we can get to today. I think we covered most of the commonly asked questions that we got through the chat. So really appreciate everyone's patience as we work through those. That concludes today's webinar. Thank you all for attending again and giving us your attention and engaging with us. If you found today's webinar helpful, don't forget to follow us on your favorite social media platform and stay in the know with CAO by subscribing to our mailing list. We regularly share best practices, advice on condo living, news from the sector, as well as advisories on when we'll be having our next webinar. So you definitely won't want to miss that one. The link to subscribe was just posted in the chat. So again, thank you for joining and for your questions. Please remember to check our website next week for the recording of today's session. Merci d'avoir été des nôtres. Je vous souhaite une excellente journée. Thank you and have a wonderful day, everyone.